She was laughed at by bank staff, publicly ridiculed, just for asking to withdraw $500 in cash. They scanned her outfit, her quiet stance, and instantly assumed she didn't belong. But they were wrong. Because the moment her billionaire husband stepped through the doors, everything flipped. The grand atrium of Ashton Meridian Bank shimmered under 1,000 gleaming lights. Marble floors stretched endlessly beneath chandeliers that looked like falling stars. In the center of downtown Manhattan, this wasn't just a bank. It was a monument to money, a place where the air reeked of power, leather, citrus cologne, and cold silence. Men in bespoke suits and women in stiletto heels glided across the floor as if gravity itself bowed to their balance sheets. This was where accounts didn't start below $1 million, and arrogance was part of the dress code. And here, difference didn't go unnoticed. It got dragged. On that crisp October morning, Amara Fields stepped through the rotating doors. Her t-shirt was clean, but creased. Her jeans faded at the knees. She wore old canvas sneakers that made no sound on the gleaming tile. One braid hung loose against her cheek, her warm skin glowing in the lobby's artificial light. She moved with grace, too quiet, too grounded for the glass and gold around her. She clutched a simple tote bag, canvas, worn, containing only a wallet and a folded slip. The security guard saw her immediately. Richie, built like a linebacker, sporting a buzz cut and barely hiding his grin, looked her up and down. "No offense, but custodial staff usually come through the side," he said, loud enough for others to glance over. A woman in a fur-lined jacket gave a short, cruel laugh, her champagne-colored earrings dancing. Amara offered a faint, unreadable smile. "I'm here as a customer," she said. Her voice was low and steady, like a calm breeze before a storm. She walked toward the teller station, ignoring the murmurs bubbling behind her. At the counter, a sharp-eyed woman in a navy blazer glanced up. Melanie, with angular features and manicured red nails, didn't even hide her disbelief. "The ATM's right outside," she said, voice honeyed but hollow. "This section's for real clients." A man in a pinstriped suit behind Amara snorted. "She probably thought this was a check-cashing place," he muttered. Amara's expression didn't shift. She unfolded her slip and slid it across the counter. "I'd like to withdraw $500. Cash, please." Melanie let out a brittle, dismissive laugh. "500? Sweetheart, we don't hand out petty cash here. Try the sidewalk machine, assuming you know how to use it." She leaned in, dropping her voice to a venomous whisper. "Honestly, I thought you were here to apply for cleaning staff." Laughter scattered across the marble chamber. A teenage girl in a red dress snapped a photo, phone already captioning, "Came to Ashton Meridian dressed like this." Amara's hand stiffened around her tote for just a second. Then, stillness. "The ATM's broken," she said gently. "I've banked here 3 years. I'd appreciate it if you'd process my request." Melanie's lips curved wider. She tapped her terminal, squinting dramatically at the screen. 3 years, huh? I'm not seeing anything under Amara Fields. You sure you're not thinking of a credit union? We're not community level. Another round of laughter broke out. Someone in a camel coat murmured, "She better head to a pawn shop." The girl in red uploaded the post. Likes began to stack. Scam vibes. Kick her out. Amara stood unfazed, her deep brown eyes meeting Melanie's. "Check again," she said softly. "It's under my name." Before Melanie could respond, a figure strode over. Each step echoed, measured, confident. Derek, the floor supervisor, mid-40s, slicked back hair, a tie pin glinting gold, didn't even mask his judgment. His gaze flicked from Amara's thrift store clothes to her tote to her face. "This is a luxury tier branch," he said sharply. "We don't entertain walk-ins who aren't at that level." He raised his voice. Eyes turned, phones tilted up. "You're not the kind of client we cater to," Derek said flatly. "Let's not ruin the atmosphere for those who are." He motioned subtly, and within seconds, Richie and another suited guard moved in beside Amara, tight as shadows. She was now bracketed like a shoplifter, not a customer. The phones came out fast, angled, hungry. "She's wasting everyone's time," murmured the fur-cloaked woman, swirling her tiny cup of espresso, probably hoping for a pity check. Behind the counter, Melanie tapped a microphone. Her voice surged through the overhead speakers, slicing through the hush like static. "Excuse me, everyone," she said with a theatrical wave, pointing to Amara. "Let's give it up for Miss Amara Fields, trying to buy attention with couch cushion money." The room broke into delighted laughter. Clients pressed closer, some whispering, some recording, most smirking. She thinks she's got an account here, Melanie sneered. Look at her. Jeans that haven't seen starch since college, sneakers from a lost and found, and carrying a purse made of recycled sadness. Her eyes gleamed as she gestured upward to a towering digital display. The screen came alive with a mock account detail. Amara Fields. Balance. $500. The room exploded. A woman in a white Chanel suit burst into laughter so hard she had to grip the counter. She's gotta be kidding, she howled. Is this a prank? A crumpled coffee sleeve sailed through the air and grazed Amara's shoulder. Melanie clapped slowly, venom dripping from every syllable. Round of applause, everyone, she crooned. She really gave it her best shot. Across the room, the girl in the red dress zoomed in her live stream, her voice breathless. This is brutal. They're cooking her. Amara fail. Amara's fingers tightened around her tote. Her expression never cracked. She turned calmly to Derek. I'm a legitimate client. I requested a simple withdrawal. And if 500's too low to matter here, then I'd like to speak with your branch director. Derek gave a laugh that didn't reach his eyes. Our director doesn't waste time with unverified walk-ins, he said, signaling the guards again. Take her out. Quietly. Richie reached for her arm. His grip was firm. Impersonal. This way, ma'am. The buzz in the lobby grew meaner as Amara was steered toward the entrance. What a clown, someone muttered near the water station. She probably has $5 and a dream. A gaggle of sharply dressed clients shifted to close ranks, blocking her path like a glittering barricade of disdain. The man in the cashmere overcoat stepped forward, voice raised. Hey, sweetheart, you think 500 makes you royalty? He laughed, eyes full of malice. This place is for closers, not charity applications. His wife in emerald flicked her nails toward Amara's tote. Bet she's got food stamps in there, she scoffed. Maybe a few coupons and a sandwich. Near the velvet ropes, a tech bro in a crushed velvet blazer recorded with glee. Yo, this is next level, he laughed. Broke girl tries to play CEO. The laughter turned uglier. A woman in 6-inch stilettos bumped Amara deliberately, sending her tote tumbling. Papers spilled. The tech bro raised his foot and kicked them aside. Clean it up, janitor. Comments blew up under the live stream. She's nobody. Drag her. Expose her. Amara crouched to gather her things, moving slowly, deliberately. Her eyes were calm, but around her, the air thickened with cruelty. As the guards led her forward, Melanie's voice rang out again. Come back when you've got real money, darling. The red-dressed girl's video crossed 1,000 likes. Her caption updated. Black girl tries to fake wealth at Ashton. Epic flop. A client threw a torn receipt in her path, shouting, Send that to your caseworker. Still, Amara walked forward. Chin level, shoulders back, tote clutched. She'd heard worse. Lived worse. Richie leaned in just slightly. Voice low. Sorry, ma'am, just doing our job. Amara gave the smallest nod, her voice barely audible. I know, she whispered. Just then, Derek stepped in front of the doors, cutting off her exit. Wait, Derek called, his voice slicing across the lobby like a blade. He raised a hand, his smile all edge and no warmth. We need to search her bag. For all we know, she's here stealing client info or planting something. Gasps cracked through the room like dropped glass. Phones whipped toward her like weapons. I've seen this before, Derek said, puffing up with mock authority. Pretend to be harmless. Walk in. Walk out with account data. Without warning, he snatched Amara's tote, yanking it from her shoulder and spilling its contents across a glass desk. A pen, a wallet, one folded withdrawal slip. Derek held it up, sneering. $500? You're no client. You're a scam. Someone shouted, Search her! Who knows what she's got on her? Richie shifted uncertainly, but Derek gave a sharp nod. The second guard moved in, patting down Amara's sides right there in front of everyone. Her plain blouse wrinkled further under his hands. The phones didn't look away. Neither did the crowd. Comments flared on the live stream. She's a thief. Lock her up. Amara didn't blink, didn't flinch. But inside, the shame burned, slow and brutal, like a match pressed to skin. Her body stood in the light, and the lie wrapped around her like barbed wire. The spinning doors were just ahead. So close. So far. The live stream ticked past 5,000 viewers. The girl in red whispered gleefully into her phone, zooming in on Amara's worn sneakers. Y'all, she really thought she could fake her way into wealth, she giggled. Amara Fields. Queen of false flex. Marissa climbed on top of the teller counter like a show host at a circus. Her blazer hung open. Her phone now on her own account, streaming to her personal following. "Everyone, take notes," she called. "This is what happens when you pretend to be somebody inside Ashton Meridian." She panned her camera to Amara's back. "Say hi to Amara Fields, rocking clearance clothes and $500 fantasies." The room roared. Not with joy, with venom. A sound that fed on itself. "Bet she's sleeping in a box tonight," a woman near the espresso bar jeered. A ballpoint pen flew from the crowd, striking Amara's leg. Marissa clapped. "Keep it coming, folks. She earned it." The viewer count jumped, 15,000 and climbing. Comments flowed like acid. Embarrass her. Make her cry. Trend her into oblivion. Marissa leaned down, face close to her camera. "Don't come back, Amara. You don't belong in this world." Amara kept walking. Eyes ahead. Back straight. But inside was different. Every stare etched a mark. Every voice carved a scar. Every word from Marissa's lips struck like a stone. But she didn't stop. Her hand clenched the torn tote now hanging awkwardly at her side. To them, she was finished. Ridiculed. Branded. A trending moment. A walking meme. A failed impersonation of wealth. From the side, someone yelled, "Ban her!" Another, "Make her go viral for failure." And the internet obeyed. The memes came quick. Screenshots of her. Captions like, "Try again, sweetie." And worse. Amara kept moving, and the room kept filming. But the camera never captured what truly burned. The betrayal. The ache. The humiliation buried so deep it left no visible bruise. Then the doors behind her spun open. Tires screeched. Engines purred. A caravan of black SUVs pulled up like thunder arriving without clouds. The sun flashed off tinted glass as doors flung open in sequence. The laughter stopped, like someone hit mute. Phones stayed up, but fingers trembled. No one spoke. No one breathed. From the lead vehicle, a man stepped out. Sharp suit. Salt and pepper fade. Tall, carved like command. Julian Cole. He moved with quiet force. Not flashy, not loud. Just unstoppable. At 45, Julian didn't need to be recognized. He was felt. The founder of Cole Dominion, one of the largest private equity firms on the coast. Whispers said he held nearly $2 billion with Ashton Meridian. Personally, he was myth in Manhattan, a specter in Armani, and now, he was here. The entire room froze as his leather soles touched marble. A man in line gasped, "That's Julian Cole." Someone else whispered, "He never appears in person." Marissa's hands froze mid-scroll. Her fingers hovered above her phone, nails twitching. Bradley's chest rose sharply. His tie pin, once gleaming like pride, now looked like it was strangling him. Neither of them moved. Julian didn't spare them a glance. He walked straight to Amara, who stood just inside the entrance, still holding her half-torn tote. His expression shifted the moment he reached her, fury melting into concern. He reached out, gently brushing her shoulder. "You all right, Mara?" he asked, voice low, just for her. She nodded, her lips curling into a tired smile. "Always," she said softly. Julian turned to face the crowd, still resting one hand on her shoulder. His voice rang out, smooth, calm, but lethal. "I'd like to make a withdrawal," he said, his gaze slicing across the stunned faces. $2 billion. Cash. The silence broke like glass. Marissa's phone shook in her grip. Bradley stumbled a half-step back, gray blooming across his face. Someone gasped. Another dropped a ceramic cup. It shattered on the marble. The livestream viewer count jumped to 10,000. On screen, the girl in red updated her caption. "Wait, that's her man?" Billionaire just walked in. Julian's eyes cut through the room like a storm moving without wind. He spoke again. "Also, I want every account tied to Cole Dominion closed. Personal, corporate, legacy trusts, every last one." He let that breathe for a beat. Then, the kill shot. "The woman you humiliated? That's my wife, Amara Fields." A collective gasp tore through the lobby. Marissa's mouth dropped open. Her blazer looked too tight now, suffocating her. Bradley gripped the edge of the counter for balance. The woman in fur choked mid-sip, diamonds suddenly meaningless. The live stream soared, 20,000 and rising. Comments screamed, "That's his wife? They're finished." "Oh, it's over." Amara stood beside Julian, her silence suddenly commanding. She didn't need to fight. She was the storm. Bradley stammered, his voice brittle. "Mr. Cole, sir." This is a misunderstanding. Julian's eyes locked on him. You mocked her over a $500 withdrawal, called her a fraud, tried to kick her out of her own bank. He turned to Amara. Go ahead, Mara. Show them. Amara stepped forward. Her face was calm, but her gaze burned. She reached into her tote and pulled out a single matte black card. No name, no numbers, just a silver crest. She handed it to Marissa. Marissa's hands trembled as she took it. She slid it through the reader. The screen lit up instantly. Lines of numbers flew across the display, blinking faster than her brain could catch. Then it hit. Her voice cracked. 500 million. Just in her name. Gasps rippled across the lobby. Wait, what? She's worth more than everyone here. The man in the cashmere coat backed away, face pale. Amara walked calmly to the center of the marble floor. Her blouse was still wrinkled, her tote still torn. But now, she looked like royalty. She turned to Marissa. Her voice was low, but it cut through the room like thunder under silk. You mocked me over $500, she said, fire simmering behind her words. So let's do better. I want every dollar moved. 2 billion. Savings. Assets. Real estate. Everything. All of it, Amara said. Her voice didn't rise, but it didn't need to. The room heard her. Every portfolio. Every cent. Gone. A hush swallowed the lobby. Marissa's screen blinked in disbelief as asset charts cascaded across it. Line after line of real estate, equities, trusts, vanishing. Number. That's not, she stammered, her blazer suddenly sagging like it weighed 100 pounds. That's not possible. Amara's smile was small, sharp. You made it personal, she said softly. I'm making it permanent. At the center of the lobby, Clara, Julian's chief of staff, connected her tablet to the wall display. A flood of red streamed across the screen, billions disappearing, right before their eyes. Clients turned pale, their phones still in hand but fingers frozen. Every balance was a thread tied to the bank, and now those threads were burning. The chat flooded with awe. She's a queen. Game over. That bank's done. Amara signed the transfer form, her signature crisp, steady. Each stroke landed like a gavel. Behind her, Marissa dropped to her knees. It wasn't theatrical. It was collapse. A career turned to dust by the woman she mocked. Amara didn't even glance her way. She looked to Derek instead, her tone cool as ice. If 500 was too small for you, then fine. Let's move 500 million instead. Silence. Real, aching silence. The kind that fills churches before a verdict. Only Marissa's breath could be heard. Shaky. Shallow. Bradley slumped against the counter, muttering, We don't have that kind of liquidity. Julian's mouth curved just slightly, though no joy reached his eyes. Then get creative, he said. Because if you don't, Ashton Meridian loses every dollar Cold Dominion has on record. All of it. He turned to Clara. Start the transfers. Now move everything to our international accounts. Clara didn't blink. Her fingers flew across the screen like fire over dry wood. No emotion. Just precision. The crowd watched, breathless. From the executive hallway, a flurry of suits poured in. Among them, Edward, the regional director, hair silver and sweat beading beneath his collar. He rushed forward, tie askew. Mr. Cole, please, he gasped. We can fix this. There's no need to escalate. Julian lifted one hand. That was all it took. Edward's voice died in his throat. You had your chance, Julian said. You didn't just ignore my wife. You let your people humiliate her. And now, you answer for it. Edward turned to Amara, desperation leaking from his pores. Miss Fields, we're sorry. Truly, we didn't know. Amara's eyes met his. Steady, kind, even, but unmoved. You weren't supposed to know, she said. You were supposed to treat me like a human being. The words landed like a bell toll. Bradley staggered forward, his composure finally shattered. Hair out of place, sweat on his forehead, he dropped to his knees. Miss Fields, please, he said, his voice cracking. I didn't realize. I thought you were. We all did. His tie pin hit the floor with a soft clink. Don't do this, he begged. You'll ruin lives. Mine. Everyone's. Please. Amara looked down at him. Her expression didn't twist with cruelty. She wasn't vengeful. Just done. You ruined yourself, she said gently. When you decided I didn't matter. Julian stepped beside her. His voice? Freezing cold. He's done, Julian said. Clara, make sure every hiring board sees his name. He doesn't work again. Anywhere. Clara gave a single nod, already keying the command. Gasps echoed behind them. Phones came down. Clients turned away. Bradley sank lower. The stream caught him mid-collapse, comments exploding. Justice. He got what he gave. No mercy. He sobbed. A man broken not by vengeance, but by the weight of his own judgment. Nearby, the woman in the fur coat whispered to no one in particular. He did this to himself. Amara didn't speak again. She didn't need to. Her silence had more power than their cruelty ever did. She stood still, head high, while empires fell behind her. A sharp ping broke the tension. Clara's tablet flashed bright red. Marissa looked up, dazed. "It's all moving," Clara said quietly, her voice cool and sure. "Billions. Gone." Marissa stumbled back a step. The lobby erupted in chaos. Clients gasped. Phones trembled. A man in a pinstripe suit clutched his briefcase like a flotation device. "This is going to wreck the market," he muttered, pale. The live stream hit 50,000 viewers. The girl in red whispered into her mic, barely audible. "They're draining the bank. It's over." Julian turned toward Amara, the steel in his posture softening. "You didn't have to come," he said gently, "just for her." She looked up at him, her hand finding his arm. "I did," she replied, "for both of us." They walked together to a polished desk where Clara had opened a final screen. Amara signed the digital withdrawal, her signature precise, silent thunder. Her wrinkled blouse and worn sneakers stood in stark contrast to the screen, now displaying billions in motion. Around them, suits scrambled, phones rang endlessly, executives shouted names, systems crashed under panic. Edward, the branch director, shoved through the chaos. "Please, Mr. Cole, this can't happen," he stammered, voice frayed. "We'll lose the institution. What about the regulators?" Julian cut him off, not with volume but with cold certainty. "You lost everything the second you disrespected my wife." He nodded to Clara. Above the teller counters, the digital screen flickered to a single message. Cole Dominion. $2 billion withdrawn. Final transfer approved. The crowd gasped in unison. Some phones fell. Some froze. All hearts sank. The stream chat exploded. "That's real power." She ended them. "Amara Fields is a legend." Amara signed the final line. Her tote now back on her arm. She turned to Julian, her voice a whisper but strong enough to shift the world. "Let's go," she said. Marissa stumbled to her feet behind them, blazer torn, her face twisted with rage and disbelief. "You can't do this," she shrieked, pointing at Amara. "You tricked us. You're nothing." The room turned, all of it. The same people who had once laughed now glared. A man in pinstripes shouted, "You mocked her. Now we're all suffering for it." The woman in Chanel, still filming, yelled, "You're the fake here, Marissa!" Clara stepped forward, her voice clear and final. "Marissa Klein, terminated for misconduct. Federal investigators are en route." Gasps followed her words like thunder. 2 guards seized Marissa by the arms. She screamed and kicked as they dragged her toward the staff exit. "I was doing my job," she wailed. The live stream viewer count passed 100,000. Comments rained down. "She's done. Amara's a queen. Karma in 4K. Clients started demanding withdrawals. The shouts turned to roars. Ashton Meridian's fall had begun, and there was no stopping it. Amara watched it all silently, her tote cradled in her arm like armor. Her silence wasn't surrender. It was power. Julian took her hand. Together, they walked across the same marble floor where shame had tried to bury her. Now, it bore her footsteps like royalty. The crowd parted, reverent. The same mouths that had spat insults were now silent. Marissa slumped into a chair, hollow, her reputation reduced to embers. Bradley's tie pin rolled across the tile. He didn't chase it. He just whispered, "We're ruined." The girl in red lowered her phone. Her stream cut out. Outside, the SUVs waited, black steel humming like loyal guards. Julian opened the door. Amara stepped in. The vehicle closed behind them with a soft finality. The convoy drove off, leaving behind panic, collapse, and the consequences of cruelty. Within hours, the headlines hit. Bank stock drops 40%, federal probes begin, executives suspended, social media caught fire. Amara Fields, bank burn, justice served, all trending. Clips of Marissa's taunts, Bradley's collapse, and Amara's unshakable grace flooded feeds. 30 million views by nightfall. The woman they called a nobody? She brought down an empire. But Amara didn't care to watch. She was home. Sweater on. Kitchen warm. Julian was setting plates, his sleeves rolled up. She stirred the pot. They laughed gently. No gold, no marble, just peace. She didn't win by shouting. She won by staying true. And the world would remember the day a black woman stood in silence and let the system crumble beneath her dignity. This wasn't just a story. It was a reckoning. And if you felt it, share it. Let it echo.